Coming up on the Buckeye Guard, soldiers try out the new Army Combat Fitness Test, an airman shares his role keeping the power on, and we take a look at the proud history of women's service in the Ohio National Guard.
So today we're at Camp Garfield. The 1st Battalion 148th Infantry is taking the Army Combat Fitness Test. Our battalion was chosen as one of the 7 National Guard battalions to test out the test for the Army.
We'll do the side shuffle.
So the Army Combat Fitness Test has 6 separate sub-tests, if you will. We've got the deadlift, and then the ball toss. Followed by that is the hand release push-up, the sprint drag carry, the knee tuck, and the 2-mile run.
Because we're participating in the field test, Ohio has really gotten a jump start on the ACFT. We have the ability to really communicate directly with TRADOC as they're developing and refining the standards for this test. We're working with the National Guard Bureau closely to identify what are the problems that we're seeing as Guard units, as an infantry battalion, with our limited training time available, and how does that equate with our other priorities.
10.9.
So yesterday I was able to take the Army Combat Fitness Test for the first time, and it was a blast. I loved it. It was challenging. It gave me a real good gut check. I had to go above and beyond and keep driving through, and it's a lot different than your traditional APFT.
It's a fun test. It's fun to see your buddies doing it. It's fun to compete with your buddy in the next lane, and challenge each other and really help develop that esprit de corps.
From what I've seen, the soldiers are loving the ACFT, and I think they're going to go home and put some thought into what can they do to get better and to improve themselves for the next time they take the test.
It really refocuses the soldier on what kind of fitness do we need to train for. Do we need to train to be able to do push-ups and go out and run 2 miles? Or do we need to look at a more well-rounded fitness model and perhaps train for a little bit heavier demand?
I think the ACFT is going to give us a very good measurement of where we are right now. It's going to show us what we need to work on, and it's going to give us the ability to work on those things so that the next time we step on the battlefield, we're more prepared for it than the last time.
I'm Staff Sergeant James Noble with the 121st Civil Engineering Squadron. My job is all about power generation. It requires me to maintain and repair diesel-powered and, on rare occasions, gasoline electrical generators in order to provide emergency power to a small facility, a whole base, or even a random camp in the middle of nowhere. I was deployed to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba in support of Operation Freedom Sentinel. One of my major roles was installing a power generator and also an automatic transfer switch in one of the facilities, and my job was to maintain that generator. One of the roles that power production has is mobile aircraft arresting systems. What an aircraft arresting system is a cable that goes across the runway that catches the planes. It's very similar to what you would see on an aircraft carrier. Somebody who really inspired me big time, probably more than anybody in my life, is my grandfather. He is my favorite human being on this planet, honestly. He motivates me, he pushes me to be better, he challenges me. And he actually served back in the 1960s and 70s on this very base. He's 72 years old now. And just the joy in his face when he sees me in uniform that's everything for me. A goal that I have is to be an Air Force recruiter now so that I can go back to these schools and talk to parents and share what I've been through and how it works for me. Diversity is something that's important because you get an opportunity to learn and see different people's culture. There's different life experiences, different things that you go through, how you handle things. There's different viewpoints that could be critical for the mission. Diversity can only enrich the mission. It can only make it better. Being a African American, it's sometimes it's hard out in the world trying to make it. So something that the military has provided for me personally is a sense of self-worth and a sense of importance. You know, I feel important now. I feel like I can come to work and I have a job and I know what I'm doing, and I've been trained in a skill set that works, and now the sky's the limit. Now my goal is to help others and to, you know, let other kids know that don't really have a sense of direction. Okay, these are the options that you can take advantage of. That wouldn't be possible without the Ohio Air National Guard.
Women have served in the U.S. military since the American Revolution, at first mostly in support roles. In today's military, the roles have expanded to include occupations that had traditionally only been open to men.
I personally have had situations where I have had barriers to not having opportunities in the Army because I was a woman. Thankfully in the Army and Army policies changed. And little did I know in 1993 when I showed up at my first unit that I would, 20 plus years later, command a SHORAD battalion.
Women have served with dedication and courage in the Ohio National Guard, achieving leadership and service milestones throughout the organization's 230-year history. Women who have proudly worn the Ohio Army or Air National Guard uniform have blazed a trail for others to follow. Among the many achievements, the first woman to pilot a fighter jet, the first to pilot a helicopter, the first woman to be the State Command Chief Master Sergeant, the first to be Ohio's Adjutant General, the first to command an Ohio Air National Guard wing, and the first promoted to Brigadier General in the Ohio Air National Guard.
To be honored with this privilege of being the first Brigadier General, it's quite overwhelming, but yet quite humbling as well. I hope to be that beacon that other female airmen can look up to and say, I can get there and I can do that.
We have great leadership that encourages and fosters diversity and inclusion, and I think that we're just going to keep getting better.
We celebrate the achievements, leadership, courage, and strength of the women of the Ohio National Guard.
It's like bittersweet almost. I'm definitely making an impact in the community. I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird feeling, I guess, to say. Like, I'm happy I'm making an impact, but it's just like, I wish somebody would have been there that could have made an impact on my father.
Technical Sergeant Chelsea Lovelace was still in high school when she received the news. Her father had died from a drug overdose.
I got a call from my aunt, and she said, what are you doing? And I said, I'm at my friend's house. It was a Friday night. I think we were going to go to Kings Island or something that night. And she goes, well, I need you to go home. I need to come talk to you. And I said, well, why? And she wouldn't tell me why. He was living on his own in Pennsylvania, just graduated some sort of rehabilitation program, and a doctor had given him morphine pills, and he accidentally overdosed. I guess I'm still kind of just dealing with it, honestly. I think, I purposely don't bring it up, and I don't like going to the grave, because it's I don't know, grief is a weird process. Some people, they go through all the stages in a short amount of time, and I think I'm still, going through the grief stages. And
after high school, Lovelace joined the Ohio Air National Guard, but she wanted to do more to help those affected by drug use.
So when I graduated college, I was working with Talbert House, it's a pretty big organization, but more specifically, I was working with female inmates that were reintegrating back into the community. And I had a couple clients that, never failed a drug test, ended up getting custody of their children back and got their life on track, and that was kind of a good feeling.
Continuing to help communities dealing with the drug epidemic, Lovelace now works as an analyst with the Ohio National Guard Counter Drug Task Force, helping law enforcement crack down on illegal drugs. Her personal goal? Making sure the tragedy her family suffered doesn't happen to someone else.
Hopefully you're helping someone who might be trying to get that drug, they don't get it that day, and maybe they have an intervention from their family members, and it's one less overdose, I think, out on the streets. The more drugs you can get off, the more lives you're saving, essentially.
To see more about the Ohio National Guard, go to ong.ohio.gov or follow us on Facebook and Twitter.